Morning session under our belt. How's the car out there?
We're learning stuff. You know, I think the 24 is probably a good gauge as to where we are right now. We're sitting on some speed. We just don't want to cool the car down every time we go out and go through that whole mess. So we've got grill tape off and the car really in race format. Just trying to see, the changes we make, what helps the car, what doesn't, in going through our motions. This isn't the car we plan on bringing back for Speed Weeks to be a backup. So we know that we'll build a better car and apply what we learn here. So, not the most stellar on speed, but the engineers are learning a lot and going through the motions. From the driver's standpoint, it is absolutely painfully boring to be a part of it, but I'm excited to be here.
We know that Daytona's released this special 48 experience package. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and we had a very successful program last year with Lowe's participation and building group cars that we take to the racetrack and have ticket packages built around it that really help families and make it enticing to bring your children out to the racetrack. We had a very successful program in July here, and we've announced again that we'll do it for the Daytona 500. So, I became a fan of racing as a kid, and I think the future of our sport really relies on connecting with the young kids and helping them get involved in the sport and understanding and being around it. So hopefully this program can contribute to that.
All right, we'll open it up for questioning. State name and affiliation. We'll get a wireless mic. We'll start with Ken in the back.
Hey Jimmy, Ken Wallace, News Journal. Two things. First of all, when it's time to go drafting out there this afternoon, should we assume that your team will do that? And second of all, the different manufacturer makes now, are you anticipating any squabbles between manufacturers as to who might have an upper hand, who might have an advantage, even though the wind tunnel numbers are supposedly fairly equal?
Yeah, I think you just answered it with a supposedly fairly equal part. If we're down, we're going to complain. If Ford's down, they're going to complain. It's just the cat and mouse game of racing and what happens. So, I feel good though with the SS that we have. I know we're going to learn a lot as we get going here and be very competitive. NASCAR is going to work real hard to make sure they're all equal. So it won't take away the opportunity to complain. That will always be there. This is racing. And as far as drafting, I would love to be out there and draft. I am tired of sitting in that long-ass line waiting my turn to get out on the racetrack. But it's up to Chad and what he wants to do. I know it was on his radar when we got here, but it's been so slow to get on the track. We haven't been able to work through our single car stuff like we wanted. So unless we get that under control, we have a long test list of things we want to try, and that's really what would hold us up more than anything.
And what happened last year? You guys didn't draft last year. Does that play a role in why you will definitely draft this year, or any?
No, I mean the reason we don't draft on race weekends is we spend so much time and effort to get our primary car where it needs to be, and you don't make it any faster. I mean, you show up here and what you have is what you have, and you go through the room and the tech room, and it is what it is. So for us, it makes no sense to go out there and draft because you aren't going to learn anything. You're just taking a chance of ruining your best race car.
I'm talking about during the test last year. I don't think you guys drafted during the test last year.
I can't remember exactly why, but generally speaking, we just don't have any cars. I mean, this is our only Speedway car for a 48 car. We want to have that as a backup when we come back. We still need to go home and build our shootout car. I'm sorry, our 500 car and I guess the shootout car. So we just don't have the inventory. And as Greg was saying as I walked in, I mean, we have 4 deck lids for our cars that are legal, and they're on the 4 Hendrick cars that are here now. So we're playing a big game of catch up right now.
Holly?
Holly Keene, NASCAR.com. It's been a while since you've had back-to-back off seasons not being the champion, and I just wonder, does it make the off season feel so much longer? How eager are you to get back? Just kind of, the space between and getting ready to get amped up again.
Last year, the way we lost our competitiveness in Tony and Carl ran off with the show, and there was, the season couldn't end fast enough, and then the off season was nice to have, and it seemed way too short. There was a lot of kind of recharging that I needed and I think the team needed, but I guess now that I should say, right, this last year, the season before was that, then this last year, I wasn't ready for the season to end. I mean, sure, I would have loved it to end after Texas when we had the points lead and we could be the champions, but I honestly had more in the tank when the season was over. I think I did a much better job of managing the pressure and stress than any other year. I think Chad did, my guys did, and although it came to an end, I mean, I could have gone the next week and raced again. I had more left, so I enjoyed the off season. I had fun, but I'm ready to go racing. I hope that I've matured some and understand how to lay out the season, know when to take some breaks in between races and just disconnect, and set a pace that I can keep for another 10, 15 years and stay in the sport.
Clever Life Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. How many changes are on your team this year, other than we know you're engineer? You're making a lot of other changes. And it is really hard to hear, you say that the Hendrick group is playing catch-up. Well, everyone is. But how much more do you think the Hendrick group is playing catch-up than anyone else?
I think everybody's in the same boat as far as the rules package and trying to build cars to what the rules will be. And then the parts inventory, a lot of these pieces now are NASCAR issue. We buy them through whatever channel. And those folks are just now getting legal parts produced. So our situation is a lot like anyone else's. And we'll be able to hopefully get prepared faster than most. And if we have, where I'm most concerned is if we get into the season and you start crashing cars, especially your downforce cars. There's a lot of mile and a half and stuff at the start of the season, and you can be out of inventory of race cars pretty quick. And that's the thing that concerns me the most. But if there's any company that can deal with it, it would be ours. So I feel like we're in a great position. But trying to remember the first
Changes on the team.
Changes on the team. So Greg Ives is over at Junior Motorsports, and then Cody Clemens, who was the other engineer. Cody has left racing, and I just spoke to him the other night. He's doing great and pursuing another career path. He came in as an intern and expected to only stay for his internship, and he did so well. We brought him on, and he stayed a few years and did a great job for us. So we have 2 new engineers, and then there's a guy underneath that's doing the underneath side of the car, mechanic. So 3 new faces.
Understand?
You were a much newer driver to the sport when the COT came, and you seemed to adapt to it much quicker than any of the other drivers did and had great success with it. And then they were finally catching up with you. How much, are you going to be one guy trying to catch up because you did feel so good about the COT? Is this car going to be that much different? That it's going to be a major adjustment for you?
I think historically change has been good for the 48 and good for Hendrick. So I hope and assume that we'll be, in that front wave of guys figuring things out. The car I drove, we tested Tuesday at Nashville, and the aero package on the car is extremely forgiving. I'm not sure that helps me. The easier the cars are to drive, I think, closer the competition gets, and it's just a much more forgiving car. And I do a better job when the cars aren't driving well and it's a loose racetrack or a hot day. That really helps me. In my background, kind of shines and excels at that point. So I'm excited and eager to get to the Charlotte test next week and just see how I stack up to the rest of the field, because we didn't participate in the December test. And I know our cars were fast. I think Casey was whipping around there pretty quick at the December test. So change is good, but the cars, if the downforce package stays like it is, they will be easier to drive in some respects and a lot faster.
We'll finish up with Dwight.
Dwight from RaceDate.com. You've been coming to Daytona for quite a while now. What it sticks with you, say compared to the first time you got here to now after being here so many times? What do you like best about Daytona?
No, smart aleck. No, the first 4 or 5 times I was so eager to go sit in that long line out there. So happy to be in a cup car and here at Daytona, and now I sit out there in misery. It's painful. It's so painful. But when you come back for race week and you drive through the tunnel and come in, make no mistake about it. You know that you were at Daytona and it's go time. And the rush that follows then helps you forget about the 3 long days of testing here.
All right, thanks.